Hello and good afternoon from Keller Field in St. Louis Park. I'm Bruce Holborn along with John Fromm, and this afternoon we have beautiful weather for a baseball game as the St. Louis Park Orioles take on the St. Francis Fighting Saints. John, pleasure to be reunited with you again here for baseball this year.
Yeah, wonderful day again, and the Orioles continue their white-knuckle tour of the spring baseball schedule here in Minnesota. This is the Orioles' 15th game in the last 18 days.
That is just unbelievable, John.
They still have not had an outdoor practice. Now, I'm going to repeat that again. Some teams might have only been playing 3 games a week or 4, but Park has not had an outdoor practice yet this season. That'll come next Monday after the game today, and then Orioles take the show on the road to Edina tomorrow night, and then they play Spring Lake Park on Saturday. So
I think Edina's had a lot of doubleheaders too. I mean, I think some of the schools have had more doubleheaders versus playing day after day after day.
Yeah.
But it's got to wreak havoc for the coaches and the pitching staffs.
Oh, especially, and we should have a really good pitching matchup today as St. Francis comes in sporting a really impressive 11-3 record, 6-2 in the conference. As there you take a look at their lineup with Huss, Benson, and Sagdahl, Bauermeister, Carlson, Ratke, Mayer, Hallritz, and Duncan. And for the Orioles, they had an exciting win over Cooper last night, a 7-6 game in 8 innings where we trailed 6-2 going in the bottom of the 6th. And for senior night today, this is senior day for the seniors, and one of the seniors, Ryan Fromm, will get the call on the mound for the Orioles. Ryan's 4th start of the season. There you can see his ERA, a little bit under 1, and quite a few strikes. Mitch Thomas will be doing the catching for the Orioles. I want to give a special shout out to Mitch. He's caught every game this week. He caught, I believe, 5 out of the 6 last week. So he's learning what it's like to be Joe Mauer back there and getting a lot of ice on those kneecaps. So there you take a look around the infield too, and the lineups is the seniors Parker Stennis and Cole Hoyt will man left and right center field today. Joe Burnley, the sophomore, fresh off a 3 RBI game yesterday, plays right. And then the junior Lucas Savage, senior Bros at short. Senior Martin Schlegel-Wiener getting a well-deserved start at second base for Schlegel-Wiener. And Kurt Greenbush over at first base, the junior who leads the team in hitting with a .533 average.
Well, St. Francis coming off a 17-2 victory over Fridley in their last game, so they're on a little bit of a roll. They've played very well lately, winning I think 5 in a row, and so they're going to be tough competition. They come into this game 6-2 in conference, tied with St. Louis Park in the conference standings, and 11-3 overall, where St. Louis Park is 9-5.
And, it's been one of those years because the Orioles were really expecting Joe Burnley to be able to part of their regular pitching rotation, and Joe had some elbow issues and hasn't been able to pitch at all this year. And so hopefully they'll be able to get Joe back and get full speed as they get ready for the playoffs next week.
Ryan Fromm, the starting pitcher, comes into this game with an ERA under 1 at .78, so having a great season so far. And the first hitter coming up will be the left fielder, Lucas Huss.
Huss hitting, I think it's 270 on the year. Fromm starts him off with a fastball for strike 1.
And from both right-handers here. And the pitch just inside, a little brush back that time.
I think he threw a curveball that hung a little bit there, so.
Swing on a miss.
Goes up the ladder a little bit. Lucas has got 5 doubles on the season amongst his 10 hits, and that's really impressive. So he must have some good wheels, too.
And a swing and a miss. So out number 1, a 4-pitch strikeout for Ryan Fromm. And they'll bring up number 12, Mitch Benson, the second baseman.
And he is well, hitting at .382 on the season, and he's banged out a couple of doubles and also had 8 walks, so his on-base percentage is .500 on the year, so pretty impressive.
And the pitch from Fromm just misses down low.
Yeah, you mentioned, I think it was when they had their doubleheader against Fridley the other day, I think they scored 30 runs in the 2 games. And there's a nice line drive into left center.
And it's going to be scooped up by Stennis, and he'll throw it in. So a base hit. Nice hit that time by Mitch Benson.
Just a laser into left center there. I remember a couple.
Number 3, the shortstop, Trent Sagedahl.
Sagedahl, another one of those guys hitting over 350 on the season, with leading the team with 9 RBIs so far.
So see, Benson gets a lead at first base. The pitch just misses outside. Oh, no, they're going to call it a strike here.
Just kind of. Ryan has a 3-pitch mix. He throws a fastball and a curve, and then he has mixed in a lot more changeups this year. See Greenbush over there at first, providing a nice big left-handed target for Ryan to play catch with. The left-handed batter, wouldn't be a surprise if tougher for Mitch Thomas to release a throw down to second, so we'll see if they start the runner here. That one popped high and foul.
Ryan throwing 18 innings so far this season, giving up 14 hits, only 2 earned runs, 5 walks, and 29 strikeouts. So 29 strikeouts in 18 innings has been a great ratio. Something that, here's a little grounder to the shortstop. Throws on over to first.
Throws with a nice play on that one because Sagedahl was motoring down the line with speed. That ball was like a worm burner. It never came up off the bounce, and he didn't have any play at second, so he wisely took the 6-3 put out here. And that'll bring up Bauermeister, who's also hitting nearly 400 on the season and also tied with the team lead in RBIs with 9. So big right-handed stick. Nice breaking ball to start him off there. Ryan trying to mix up his pitches a little bit more this year.
Nice pitch.
So he's ahead 0-2 here. We'll see if he tries to nibble or go right at him here. 2 down in the top of the first.
Inside.
Inside with, I'm not sure if that was the change or breaking ball. Works ahead in the count 1-2.
And the pitch just missing down low. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to the hitter.
Just missed maybe a tad down low there. So beautiful day to play some ball over us. A beautiful day for us to announce as well. That one fouled off nicely down the first base line with some good authority. Nice little crowd out here today. As we mentioned, it is senior night for the Orioles, and 7 of the seniors will be recognized after the game.
Really a great day out here for a game, and there's one down the right field line. Fair ball. And it gets by the right fielder.
Oh, that breaking ball was hit nicely as he kept his hands inside. Shoots a single down there, and that ball is dropped by Burnley momentarily, and it creates you a 2-base error there, but a nice single for an RBI that time by Bauermeister as he shot it right down the line there. And then he scooted around on the 2-base error by Burnley. He really did a nice job fighting off that breaking ball, Bruce. He almost had like a 2/3 or half swing, but he did a good job of that. So bring up number 8.
Yeah, Blake Carlson, the designated hitter.
Carlson on the year hitting 258. As we mentioned, they come into the game with an 11-3 record. They've had some really impressive wins. They have had a nice victory over, I believe they beat Benilde 11-4, and they had a really close loss to Totino. And I know a couple years ago when Ryan was 13, they won that group that's a junior class for them, won several of the state tournaments for AAA. So it's a really good class of baseball players up there too. 2 down, runner at third.
And there's a grounder to the third baseman. And nice. On over to first.
Nice short hop that time by Lucas Savage on that play. As that he had to almost olay that on the play there, but so I think we had 1 run on 2 hits for the inning.
It's really the big play is that liner down the right field line. And again, a little bit of problem filling the ball, Joe Burnley that time, and getting it in. But still a pretty solid inning for Ryan.
Well, you know, it should be a pretty competitive game all the way through. The Niemeyer brothers have just done a phenomenal job on the hill this year for St. Francis. We're going to see Josh today, who's only a sophomore. He's 3-0 on the year with a .35 ERA. And his brother Lucas is 4-1 on the year with a .47. Now, Bruce, if my St. Louis Park math holds me right, that's 7-1 on the year, and they've only combined given up 3 earned runs in 50 innings.
Huh.
I'm going to say that again. 50 innings pitched,
That's
3 earned runs, and they've only walked 12 batters, and they've struck out 71 in 50 innings.
really.
And he's a sophomore out here, and his brother's a junior. So I mean, it's fun to watch. Hopefully, have a well-pitched, quick game. And for the Orioles, plenty of batting practice this week in game situations, and they're going to start things off with their 4 seniors hitting at the top of the lineup here, as Austin Brose is going to start it off for the Orioles, followed by Cole Hoyt, Parker Stennis, and Fromm. And Brose coming in on the season with a .383 average. I want to thank Danny Bissonette for updating all the stats on the Orioles here. It really makes our job a lot easier. And Paul, thank you so much for putting up the graphic. We want to mention that next Wednesday's game is going to be the debut of the new Derek Keller Field sign. We do need to raise about $10,000 in revenue to complete the Dugout Club's portion. If you can donate any amount of money, pick up the phone and call 952-451-0771. And once again, the scoreboard's going to be installed, but the Dugout Club has raised $4,000 but needs to raise another $10,000. So we appreciate your thinking of helping. Thank you for that graphic, Paul.
So Austin Brose steps up to the plate, takes the first pitch for a strike.
Brose on the year, the senior, hitting .383. He leads the team in steals with 6. Going to see a lot of strikes out of both of these pitchers. Good speed by Josh. He's got a tall, lean frame for St. Francis.
And the pitch by Niemeyer just misses down low.
So this is one half of the Niemeyers. Josh, I wonder, they must be competitive, boy, in the summer. They both take the mound.
So Holrich, Benson, Sagdahl, and Bauermeister in the infield. Huss, Rackey, and Meyer in the outfield.
2-2. That one shot to right, and that may stay fair, but I believe that's going to shoot foul off Brose's bat.
Yeah, very close, as that ball was just slicing to the right field side, and Brose may have had extra bases had that one stayed fair.
Yeah. Looks like Niemeyer's got quite an arsenal besides his fastball. Looks like he might throw a curve and a change, so Orioles will have to really be on their toes to try to make some contact today.
Brose comes into the game hitting .383. 18 hits and 47 at-bats, and this one chop foul. Stays alive. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You can hear the birds chirping in the background. We got beautiful weather. Not a lot of noise so far in this game. A lot of maybe tension in the air.
Austin's been more of a singles hitter for the Orioles, and
that one shot into the gap.
This could be extra bases picked up by the left fielder Huss. He gets it in quickly, and Brose is on with the leadoff single for the St. Louis Park Orioles.
Really nice at bat for Austin. He spoiled a couple there, and here brings up Cole Hoyt, fresh off a 4-hit game yesterday against Cooper. Cole, probably the fastest guy on the team. He's headed to UW La Crosse to play baseball next year. He did really well at several showcases, and they're really a Division III power, so we're happy for him.
Ball up high.
Nice fastball by Niemeyer. He's got to run it up there, 80, low 80s, absolutely. For only a 10th grader, great arm.
Brose with the lead at first base. Niemeyer takes a look back to first. And the pitch popped up in the outfield, and it's going to be caught by the right fielder, Jason Meyer.
Just a fly to right there for Cole, and Bros did the right thing, just going halfway here.
3 spot for Park, the left fielder, number 10, Parker Stennis.
And here's another one of the seniors for St. Louis Park, second on the team in hitting with a .400 average. Here's Parker Stennis, pacing the team with 7 doubles and 3 triples, and he's headed to Concordia St. Paul, a Division II school, to play baseball next year. That one's going to be hit behind the first baseman, some space for the second baseman, who does a beautiful job running over to field that.
Yeah, Benson really got a good jump on that one and was able to track that one down.
That was a beautiful play because that was almost in no man's land, but he's got some good wheels. So
Ryan Fromm.
That'll bring up Fromm. He's headed to South Dakota State, the senior, to do some pitching and possibly some third base. And he had a 4-hit
coming
game.
up, yeah, 4-hit game.
The Orioles aren't waiting up there for walks, and they're probably not going to get many today with Niemeyer on the mound. As we mentioned, Josh given up 1 earned run on the year in 20 innings, and he'd struck out 29 and only walked 5. So
great control. I think you're right. I think the Orioles' strategy is this guy's going to be throwing strikes. We just got to try and get him early. Don't fall behind in the count. Runner going, and a good jump that time by Bros as he gets into second base.
Yeah, nice job that time. Pretty nice quick release on the pop time by the catcher as well, but unable to throw through to Benson that time.
1 ball, 1 strike the count. Bros will take a lead at second base. Ryan.
Oh, nice pitch
that
there.
one outside.
Looks like, for my estimation, Ump's not giving either one of the pitchers much of the low stuff at the knees so far, so they'll have to maneuver it around the zone.
We keep it up, it could be a high-scoring game. But
yeah.
Both these pitchers are good pitchers. I don't think we'll see a real high-scoring game.
Oh boy, that's what, it's a kind of a postage stamp size out there.
Well, that's as a coach, that's really where you want your pitchers throwing, just on that low
right,
corner.
Low and away. And
right.
Yeah, 3-1 is the count here with junior Jake Lucas-Savage on the on-deck circle. So 3-1. See if Fromm gets a fastball.
Swung on up the middle.
Up the
and
middle.
It's a base hit, should tie the game. Center fielder having a little bit of trouble fielding the ball is Ratke, and a base hit RBI for Ryan Fromm.
And that stolen base, just what the doctor ordered for the Orioles with 2 outs. You know, Brosey with 6 steals on the year, and you know, want to get a read for the catcher's arm early in the game too, Bruce. I know you, when you were coaching at Leaning Post, you always wanted to challenge the catcher early in the game. Or excuse me, I forget what team you were at. Not at Leaning Post. Who did you coach in the?
Oh, we go way back.
Shillard. Shillard. So here, bring up the junior Lucas-Savage, who had a nice year as a sophomore last year. Produced a lot of powers for Coach McEachran. Leading scorer for the Oriole hockey team as well this year. Jake coming into the game with a .279 average and 7 RBIs. That was Ryan's 21st RBI of the season.
And we should mention Ryan going to college at San Diego State. I'm sorry, South Dakota State.
Boy,
I always keep getting that wrong.
Nancy and I would really appreciate San Diego.
You should go out to San Diego,
especially
John.
the way this spring has been.
That's where my sister-in-law lives. I keep getting San Diego in there, but South Dakota State, and they're actually in to play the Gophers this year.
Yeah, and they're going to be, as Jake goes down on strikes, that'll end the first inning here. Orioles do get a run on the 2 hits and 1 left, so close game after 1. Stick with us here on Park 16. We've got a one-man production crew doing the directing and camera work today.
So we're gonna stay live, so we'll be able to talk. Actually, one of my partners, as you mentioned, Johnny, is from Green Isle.
Oh yeah,
and,
okay.
And one of the partial coaches on that South Dakota State team is from Green Isle as well, so he knows.
Oh, really?
I mean, he's like, yeah, it's pretty exciting. Well, he's saying, I wonder if we can get Ryan to play some town ball for Green Isle too.
Well, you know, and I was thinking for a while. Too that perhaps, you know, Ryan might go the Division II route where he get a chance to play more third base. I know some of the schools that we visited we're interested there because he's got a good glove. I know he's excited to get a chance to finally just focus on pitching. I mean, this is the first year he's really ever had a pitching coach at Park too. As we want to give a special shout out to Mike Olson, who is one of the legends in St. Louis Park baseball, who's the new first-year pitching coach here for the Orioles, as he was the Edina varsity coach for 4 years, and then he stepped down in 11. And Orioles are happy that he came back, and Jim Nunn brought him on board, and his boy Archie's a sophomore. So he was the most intimidating pitcher I think I've ever seen in Minnesota high school.
Right.
And I'm talking about any level.
It's pretty bad when I remember announcing Michael.
Yeah. Well, he was throwing, 95, 96, second round pick in the 1980 draft out of Park, and could really mash the ball too, if I remember right. So nice to have somebody.
That was actually right around, I think, the first year that I started doing baseball games. And
yeah, because you graduated '79 and he was class of '80. So.
Nice pitch by Fromm as he gets ahead in the count. 1 strike to Jimmy Mayer.
As I mentioned, I know this is a great St. Francis program. They were 15-10 last year and added all kinds of quality talent on the pitching staff. And as I mentioned, they finished 3rd in their section last year. I think them and Grand Rapids and Forest Lake are really the 3 prohibited favorites. There's a beautiful bunt, and Lucas Savage can have to pick that up foul. That was a beautiful drop down.
Yeah, it was, and just rolled foul, but a good job by Lucas Savage to just let that ball go. He had no chance of getting the runner had he tried to fill that ball, so made the smart play that time.
Yeah. And we should mention yesterday in the Cooper game, Bruce, it was such a fundamentally sound game. Cooper had a part of the game where they executed 3 consecutive bunts for singles.
Really?
And all 3 of them were right down the line. That one popped up.
Lucas Savage with the catch.
Like to see the 2 hands there on the squeeze as well.
Now hitting number 20, first baseman Ryan Ulrich.
So Ryan against Ryan here. No matter what, Ryan wins. Ryan Holritz against Ryan Fromm. He's a big young man, isn't he? Coming to the plate.
Up high for a ball.
Once again, the Orioles are on the infield. Lucas Savage at 3rd, Bros at short, Schlegel Wiener at 2nd, and Greenbush over at 1st.
Ulrich batting .250 this season, 4 for 16. All 4 hits were singles.
That one hit well to left. Looks like a can of corn for Parker out there, but he got a good part of the bat on that. You know, a few years ago, before the BB Corps bats, even something like that would have probably shot right out of here when you get a good fastball with good velocity and any kind of.
Yeah, you get this warm temperature, no wind too, so the ball may carry a little bit.
Right.
But Parker Stennis with a good beat on that one. That's going to bring up Josh Niemeyer, the pitcher, and you take the first pitch up and high.
Yeah, sorry about that. We had a mix-up in the information there, and I thought Niemeyer was just. Somebody was batting for him today, but
there's grounded. Fromm does a good job to get his glove on that one. Throw on over to first, and the side retired 1-2-3. So a good inning for Ryan Fromm and the St. Louis Park Orioles.
And I think Ryan will be really happy just that even though, all 3 of those balls put in play, I think nicely that it was only a 7-pitch inning. St. Francis did knock around a couple hits in the first inning, and he threw 18 pitches. Last Friday, Ryan threw 115 pitches as the game went 9 innings against Chisago.
Wow.
And it was really an amazing situation as the kids had an AP test on Friday afternoon, and he and Cole and one of the other players weren't able to get over here in time for the game. So the Orioles had to make an emergency start, and Kenny Ferrulli, who had just pitched on Tuesday, had to throw on Friday.
Okay.
So he had to go out and start a game where he wasn't even thinking he was going to play. And then the first 3 guys for Chisago got hits and the bases were loaded, and then Ryan had to come in and relieve for it. It was a real rough spot for Kenny. And then the game ended up 1-1 after 1 inning. And then for the whole rest of the game, there was only 1 walk between the 2 pitchers in 9 innings. And then St. Louis Park won it in the 9th, but it was the people don't realize the North Suburban is really has several good teams in baseball. Totino's ranked in the top 10, and Benilde's, I think, 20th. And the Orioles should have won both ends of the doubleheader against Benilde a couple weeks ago. They lost 4-3, but all the runs were or 3 of the 4 runs were unearned, and then we beat them. It was a split doubleheader where the first game was at Benilde and the nightcap was over here.
Right.
Taking advantage. So,
Totino has been interesting when you look at. They have scored in 52 runs in 8 games and only given up 14. So getting good pitch and good defense. And
well, and even the game we had last week, this young man Curtis Greenbush pitched brilliantly the first 2 innings against Totino. We were up 1-0, and then it was 4 errors and 4 walks, and boy, the doors were open for a 9-run third for Totino. And
now Greenbush is having a great season.
Boy, is he ever.
Batting over 500, 533, 16 hits in 30 at-bats as a home run. One of the 2 home runs for the Orioles so far this season.
Actually, 3 of them is from Lucas Savage and Kurt all have one. Yeah, Jake hit one on Monday, but Kurt and Jake will be back next year as well. They're 2 of the main guys on the hockey team, and Kurt's a real nice pitcher on the left side of the mound, too. That one hit well.
That's a long fly ball to the right fielder, and getting a beat on it is the right fielder Mayer, and Mayer gets the put out.
Nice contact that time by Curtis. He's done a nice job. And here's one of the young guns for the Orioles, Joe Burnley, who practiced a ton with the varsity last year, you might remember, Bruce, but didn't get a lot of opportunity. But he's just done a great job in right field for Park.
Takes the first pitch in there for a strike.
For Joe on the year, he's hitting at 350 as well as a 10th grader, and he's got 10 RBIs as well, so 5 big doubles.
John, in between innings, maybe you can elaborate a little bit about the new hockey coach for St. Louis Park.
Well, appreciate it, Bruce. We've got plenty of time on our hands today.
There's a base hit right up the middle.
Nice hit by Joe on that one. Both the pitchers working quick, a lot of strikes. Really nice to see. I believe I saw the other Niemeyer brother, Lucas, pitch when Ryan was 13, and we played against him. But I'm really impressed as a sophomore, his command of the zone as well as his velocity. I mean, when you're talking 10th grade here, and you look at those stats and some of the teams he's pitched against, that's pretty high quality.
So it brings up Mitch Thomas, batting .250 on the season. Mitch, 9 hits in 36 at-bats, 8 singles, and did have triples this season.
And the sorest knees in the industry is he's caught almost every game for 3 weeks.
He'd like to have a home run so he can just trot around the bases. Burley with the lead at first.
Nice curveball that time, working ahead. Showing that high fastball in the low 80s, and then nice command keeping that breaking ball down. Yeah, Mitch, another one of those seniors will be recognized. Also a big linebacker on the football team.
Myers pitch up high.
Yeah, he's kind of running up there, 82, 83 at least. And you can imagine with that, if you're an amateur scout or something like that, and you see the tall, lean body, over the next couple of years he's going to gain a lot of strength, fill out those shoulders. I love the way he stays very compact in his delivery from the stretch, too.
And with that great control.
Yeah. I was really excited to see them today. I know I was hoping to see St. Francis twice. Usually sometimes in the North Suburban get double round robin, but this will be the last time these two teams meet as conference foes too, we should mention. As
they had a tough pitcher yesterday they faced too against Cooper, right?
Yeah, not as gifted or whatnot, but I think the Orioles were really, that one's going to be.
Is this going to fall? Nope.
Nice job by, is that Sagdahl at short, able to corral that. And that'll bring up another one of the seniors. Shout out to Jordan Fracassi, the only left-handed batter in the Orioles. The DH Jordan Fracassi. Well, you tip your hat to him and Martin Schlegel-Wiener. They practiced a ton last year, but Jordan didn't get many reps in the games for varsity, but he kept working and working in the off-season, and he's got a nice bat and He's a nice 9-hole hitter. I was talking to Adam Barta yesterday, who did the color with me, who from the Blizzard, and he was impressed with a 9-hole hitter for high school having a nice that size and swing. So
right. Batting from the left side of the plate and fouls the pitch off. John, St. Louis Park with a lot of returners, returning players from last year. I think the year before, last year, they had lost a number of players, especially their infield from the previous year.
Infield, yeah.
Right. So it seems like they've retooled and done a great job.
Yeah, I think one, is maybe we'll discuss that a little bit after the half inning here, but
Niemeyer's pitch
nice
outside and swung on and missed.
I think that was a changeup as it faded a little bit down and away, and good control of it there. So second strikeout for him. But I was going to say, yeah, you were mentioning 2 years ago, as we showed the graphic about Derek Keller Field, and that is what Dakota Park is named now. Derek was a senior on the 2011 team, and when Ryan and Cole and Parker played some as sophomores. But the whole infield that year graduated. Scott Foltz and Christian Erickson, Ryan McNary, Bobby Otto. They graduated, I think, 7 starters off that team. And then last year coming in, I think it was, not a lot of experience, so not a lot of expectations. And then with the 5 seniors coming back this year, I think definitely, irregardless of the win-loss total, I think Coach Nunn has told me that he's been ecstatic about the work ethic of the kids and the resiliency they've shown, even when they've had for example, the Totino game, when they had a really bad inning, well, the next day they came out and won the game against Chisago. They haven't had a lot of carryover, and high school baseball is such a short season, and when you get into single elimination playoffs, who knows who's going to win. A lot of times it's going to come down to 3 or 4 starting pitchers, but I think he's been really happy with what he's seen, and I know they're hoping that Joe and Cole can be additions on the mound that they can count on for the playoffs as well. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, last year St. Louis Park going out against Armstrong.
Yes, and that was another weird game this year. A coach scheduled the Armstrong game last weekend, and Park scored, I believe, 5 runs in the top of the first on 3 hits and a couple of walks, and then the walls caved in for hits and walks, and so yeah, just one of those things. But they rebounded nicely on Monday, so it's one of those things. So
so for the Fighting Saints, it's number 9, 1 and 2 hitters, Duncan, Huss, and Benson. Duncan steps up to the plate against Ryan Fromm. They're in the top half of the third, a grounder to the second baseman. Schlegel Wiener over to the first baseman Greenbush, and 1 down.
That's one thing Ryan's really been trying to work on this year, is getting in the batter's kitchen a little more with that fastball early in the count, and seeing if you can get him to offer at it. And even if the ball's put in play, you get a lot of harmless ground balls. And
well, right now, like you said, the second and so far here, he's kept his pitch count down,
right,
and that can help as the game goes on.
Well, and I know some of the pitchers, I believe the older Niemeyer brother has already had 5 or 6 starts, but this is only Ryan's 4th of the year. So it's still kind of a gearing up process, and we'll see. There's Huss who went down on strikes the first inning. Big cut, though, again. Boy, if he reaches that, it's going to go over to the high school on 33rd Street. Another breaking ball hit on the ground to Schlegel.
On over to first, 2 down.
Or I believe, I'm sorry, that was Joey Jaramillo is now in at second base. It was nice to see Martin Schlegel Wiener got the start at second, but Joey, he had a ton of balls last Friday. I think Joey had 9 ground balls at second in the game we had last weekend. He's done a great job as a sophomore. It was a changeup he started him off with, I think, there. Joey and Joe Burnley, the only sophomores really playing a lot, but Kenny Ferrulli also started a couple games for the Orioles. There's a breaking ball in the inner half. We'll get from ahead 0-2. I'm talking too much as a color man, Bruce.
No, you're okay. I'm just trying to figure out my iPad here, trying to get the. we're
Yeah, you're so. If you could see us here on Park 16, Bruce is technologically advanced with his.
Well, unadvanced, I think, is when you hear silence, that means I'm trying to figure out why the player isn't coming up on the. That's supposed to come up, but Benson, the hitter, and he fouls this one off. So.
Well, and I'm using the good old.
You do a good job at covering up for me, John. So
I used to use pen a lot when I'm keeping score as well, fans. But
probably better to do manual, which I did for 30-some years, and then I switched to this.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of right along at 0-2. Couple of nice foul balls by Benson here, the 2-hole hitter. And that one hit down the third baseline. Fair. Really nice job keeping his hands inside, and he's going to get a double to second there. No, he doesn't.
Hold him.
Stennis with a nice job. He's got good speed, and he holds him to a 2-out single.
Yeah, that ball just hit between Lucas Savage and the foul line, and Stennis, as you mentioned, did a good job getting over there and getting the ball back in. So
he did a really nice job keeping his hands inside. That ball wasn't hit really hard, but it was, I think it was either a change or a curveball, and he kept his hands back enough. And here's the 3-hole hitter, Sagdahl. Fouled off there. Maybe a hit and run they might have tried there with their 3-hole hitter. As Benson was off with the pitch, we should say. Sagdahl hit a hard ground ball to short his first time up. 2 down here in the top of the 3rd inning. We're knotted at 1. Paul Broden on the camera and directing all at once.
Throw back to first.
I don't know the last time I saw Paul doing the camera. This is kind of he's always in the truck directing, but we didn't have a camera person today. Nice view there on the.
There's a late strike call.
Yeah, he's kind of deliberate in the calls there, so 0-2 count.
Well, they got a pick off here.
With the running back, Kurt with speed.
Yeah,
nice job there. Ryan did step off, but you heard some yells. So,
yep, Benson picked off.
So first pickoff of the year, and I think we got to call that a 1-6-4-4. Okay, so I'm going to call it. And there you see, look at some of the nice crowd in attendance today, Bruce. I see Heidi Stennis and Kathy Brown, some of the senior parents. Mrs. Thomas, several of the students. I know we want to encourage you, if you just tuned in today, to stick with us, win or lose, regardless of outcome today. The seniors are going to be recognized and lined up in a special post-game ceremony down on the 3rd baseline today. And I know for the seniors, really, they're going to have one more game next week, but this game had been circled quite a while ago as a game that the team knew it was going to see some good pitching and great competition in St. Francis, and Paul with that. We should mention the tennis team over at the high school doing a really nice job too. The boys tennis team, I believe, is tied for the conference lead with Benilde. Bruce, you used to do some tennis games back in the day, didn't you? Didn't you do some announcing of tennis over at Park?
A little tennis, a little bowling.
Did you really do bowling?
Not at St. Louis Park, but bowling tournament.
Is it hard to do? How did you do tennis? Did you like get up high on a perch, or where were you announcing from?
It was just from behind, actually, behind the fence, but it was.
They've got a nice setup for tennis over there. I know the Orioles have had a long. When I was a senior, Park went to the high school state tournament. They beat Edina in '83 to get to the state tournament. And,
but Edina's always always been the tough team.
Yeah. I know Brighton Bucher is also the tennis coach, the Orioles boys basketball coach.
Rose led off the 1st inning with a base hit.
Yeah, it was a nice at-bat he had in the 1st inning. He almost hit one down the right field line for extra bases. Moving right along. We're already bottom of the 3rd inning today.
There's a fly ball to deep center field. Center fielder going back, and it's over his head. Rose on his way to second, and he's going to go for 3rd. Throw, it's a cutoff on over to 3rd, but Rose in quickly, stays on the base, and he's going to be safe. Fans thought maybe he overslid the base that time, but
tell you what, it was a really nice hit. The ball was tailing away from the center fielder that time. And then after he corralled it, the ball was juggled momentarily by the center fielder, which Coach Nunn caught the vision, or excuse me, Bros caught the vision of Coach Nunn, coach in third, and slid into third. And Bros was going so full speed with those head-first slides, sometimes you can go right over the bag. I remember hearing Ricky Henderson talk one time about how you got to make sure your back feet are really curled up and your toes are, so make sure you catch that bag if you slide over it so fast.
Well, we've seen, I've actually, you watch the Twins, and they've had problems at second base.
Right.
You know, it's...
So it might have been a break for the Orioles, but...
you know, a lot of players you see now, they head first slides, and I think as people change back to more sliding, more on their backside, it's sometimes a little different. There's a ball out of play.
Here's Cole Hoyt, who flew to right field in his first step back. Cole's a kid who really loves hitting the fastball. Now that's something that'll benefit him at the next level with his speed as well. It wouldn't surprise me if he's either a 1 or a 9-hole hitter in college, because he's so fast, and a lot of times you get a lot of fastballs in the 1 and the 9 spot. And he, of course, was a good football player for the Orioles, and you and I had the last few years too.
Right. Chance to give the Orioles a lead, and there's a base hit just past the second baseman.
That drawn-in infield caused that ball to be a single instead of a probable put-out. He was hit hard, but the second baseman, Benson, really would have had to come up with a circus play, as that was hit so hard. So that'll make the score 2-1 here in the bottom of the third inning, as Hoyt singles home Bros, who had doubled.
So it brings up Parker Stennis, 0 for 1 in this game. And we'll see if Hoyt takes off from first base, John.
Yeah, he's got the wheels. We've seen a little bit of the catcher's arm early, but you've got the 3, 4, 5 guys next with nobody out. So we'll see Austin just kind of, or Cole, just kind of a normal lead over there, not too large. Nice job shaving the corner with that fastball.
Orioles battling against a very tough pitcher right now, though.
Oh, I know they were really excited to see some good pitching, too, because going into the Edina game tomorrow and then getting ready for the playoffs, you're going to see guys throwing in the low and mid-80s, etc.
And the pitch just high and inside to Stennis. They missed by much, though.
Boy, that's tough if you're a pitcher, because he hasn't been given either pitcher really the stuff at the knees, and if he's not going to give you the stuff at the letters, it's
right. That one may have just been a little inside.
Yeah. Really fun to watch a nice young man. Nice throw over to first, and he almost picked him clean there. Danny Bissonette coaching first is like, Cole.
That's right. Wake up.
Danny, well, that was one of the nice things. Danny was able to remain on the staff with Aaron leaving, and has a lot of continuity with having him involved. He was here the last year of the Ofsted regime, and then the last 2 years with Aaron McEachran. Did you hear as well? Aaron is now the full head coach at Dakota County Technical College.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so it's kind of a nice pipeline for St. Louis Park kids to shoot for.
Well, down low, and that's ball 4.
A good discipline by Parker there as he takes the walk, and with nobody out, we'll see if the Orioles, you know, this is going to be a relatively low-scoring game. Normally you wouldn't think about bunting or whatnot with your 4-hole hitter, but maybe the Orioles will do a hit and run or something to try to stay out of the double play here.
Ryan Fromm 1 for 1 had the RBI base hit in the first inning. And taking down low.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and as a father of a pitcher, that ball even right there is probably, when it crosses the front of the plate, is probably right at the edge of the kneecap, you know, but.
Yeah. You know, it's where you try and teach your players to throw, keep it down at the knees, but the umpire's been consistent.
Yep. You know, it's good the way he's staying down in the zone here as a sophomore. He's really, even though he's fallen behind 2-0, those are 2 really perfect pitches. And if he's trying to play into Fromm's aggressiveness too here, and if he keeps it down low, he's got a good chance to get him to roll over into a double play.
Well, Hoyt pretty fast at second base. A base hit could bring him in. This will be interesting to see if they send Hoyt. And they do. And here's a throw wide of the plate. And on over to third is Stennis.
Boy, that ball was hit so hard. I had no illusions that anybody on the team but Cole would have been sent. And if it was a clean throw, I don't know if we have the we don't have replays today, but make sure if you're watching this game on the replay, you set the DVR, because normally if you're running between second and third, and I'll tell you that, Bruce, because you have, you had God-given speed on the bases, but if the outfielder has the ball already and you haven't reached third, usually you're never going to be sent. But he was probably almost a stride in front of third, and none didn't hesitate sending him even.
Well, what's interesting too is that there are no outs. So
yeah,
so you do it with no outs, and bases loaded with no outs. But now they take the force play off at home plate by taking that risk. And
right. So another run scored and single by Fromm, and Stennis aggressively on the throw home takes third. And
Ryan stayed at first, though.
Well, he's not blessed with a lot of speed. That's something that he unfortunately inherited from me. But and sometimes they will courtesy run for him, especially when he's pitching. But I think Coach Nunn likes the fact that even though he's not real fast, he's a smart base runner. And this is Joey Jaramillo batting for Lucas Savage. So when he entered the game, I thought he entered for Schlegel-Wiener, but he must have entered for Lucas Savage. So this is the sophomore Jaramillo, excellent defender. Not a lot of at-bats on the season. 3 for 8. Getting a lot of repetitions. And
here they're calling on him to maybe bunt here and get Ryan over to second base.
It might have been a squeeze play too. We've seen, Bruce, I've seen some of the most unusual things the last 2 games we've covered. Last Friday, first and third, 1 out, 9th inning, Chisago Lakes batting, Ryan's pitching. 1-2 count. Straight suicide.
Oh, really? A squeeze play with...
a suicide squeeze with 2 strikes and only 1 out. And Ryan threw the ball down. Obviously, he didn't know it was coming, and it was a really low pitch below the knees. The kid tries to offer, no chance, strike 3, and then the guy runs
double play.
And then we saw a suicide squeeze yesterday with no outs by Cooper.
Okay.
Which you never see either. I mean, it was just, and that was earlier on the game.
Right.
That'll get to the backstop.
And Ryan will trot over to second base on the wild pitch.
So the Orioles have got 2 in so far, as the score is 3-1 here with nobody out in the third. Is it a 2-2 count, Bruce? I apologize.
We don't have a scoreboard today, and I just I have like 2-1, but it may be 2-2. There's a swing and a miss. So now it's
now it's definitely 2-2. Okay. So, or no, 3-2, full count. Okay. So full count to Jaramillo. Curtis Greenbush on deck.
Stennis on third, Fromm at second. Here's a play by the shortstop on over to first. Gets by the first baseman on a low throw. And Fromm will go on to third base. So Orioles get a run in, and the runner's on first and third.
And a nice bit of contact on the 3-2 pitches. We mentioned Joey hadn't seen a lot of higher quality varsity pitching yet. He'd only batted 8 times, but on the 3-2 fastball, he hit it plenty hard enough to, no matter what, score Stennis. Fromm put the brakes on at second, as you're supposed to do when the ball's hit in front of you, and it was just a low throw. So
that brings up Greenbush. Flew out to right field in his first plate appearance, 0 for 1 in the game.
You mentioned Curtis was hitting .533 going into the game with 6 doubles and 5 and a home run for the junior.
Jaramillo takes a big lead at first, but doesn't go. And the pitch in there for a strike.
This is really the first time all season Niemeyer's, I don't know what the level of the competition, I guess, was in some of their games, but the Orioles are really a good fastball hitting team, and I think they've enjoyed seeing the increased velocity too.
There's a
beautiful nice play by Sagdahl. Beautiful double play. Beautiful play on that. A run's going to score, but that was an absolutely beautiful way to pick up for the last play. And a run comes in as Greenbush hits into the 6-3 double play. Not going to get credit. If you're scoring at home, he doesn't get credit for an RBI on the double play. But that was only 2 outs, so there wasn't anybody out going into that. So Burnley will be up with 2 down, 4 in the inning for St. Louis Park. It's officially a 5-1 game here with 2 out in the bottom of the third as Fromm came in on the double play ball. But even that ball was hit pretty decently by Curtis. So Burnley, who had a nice single last time up. Joe really did a nice job with the, Joe was another one of the kids who played with the Blizzard during the winter, him and Lucas Savage, Hoyt and Fromm, and Adam was telling me he just loved his work ethic and his dedication to the game as a younger player too.
There's a strike. So John, the Orioles 5 runs, so 5-1 lead here against the tough St. Francis team.
Yeah, Niemeyer's done a fine job pitching. I think it's just a matter of the Orioles are.
There's Huss on over the first base, and Mayer on the side retired. John, you know, you have to wonder too if he's a low ball pitcher, and again, not getting those low ball strikes at the beginning may have forced him to keep the ball up a little bit. And St. Louis Park did a really good job pounding those higher pitches.
Well, irregardless of the fact that Park had some good innings, you know, St. Francis has shown really good bats so far swinging. There's a lot of ball game to be played, and I can see why that young man is. That young man has got a really bright future on the mound. I mean, because he's got plenty of velocity, excellent control. He still hasn't, you know, he still hasn't walked a batter either. I mean, and that's such a big thing too, because in high school baseball, you're not always going to have the skill set to be good at, say, holding runners on as a pitcher. Maybe you don't use a slide step a lot, or maybe your catcher's arm strength isn't, you know, what it is at the next level. So a lot of times, I know, I know last week, for example, there was a game where there was 5 or 6 stolen bases against us, and that was not mostly Mitch Thomas's fault. It was mostly that the pitchers weren't using a lot of slide steps.
Right, and if you time it out and how much time that runner has to get from first to second, sometimes you can tell it's not always the catcher. Sometimes it's, you know, it could be the pitchers.
Well, and I know that, you know, we talked about Mitch's knees through all this, and I was a catcher for a lot of years, Bruce, and, you know, when we would play, you know, we never had traveling baseball, so you didn't have to catch 5 games in a weekend or something. But the fact that he's caught 9 games in the last 11 days, including 4 in a row, you know, I just want to tip my hat to him. And now this 3-4-5 up to start. Sagdahl, who was 0-2 when his teammate Benson was picked off in the bottom of the third or top of the third. I wonder if he's any relation to Steve Sagdahl. I don't know if you know who that is, but he was a baseball legend in Minnesota. He just was involved in everything related to baseball training. I think he played a little bit for the Gophers. It's kind of an unusual name, so.
There's a grounder past the third baseman into left field for a base hit.
Nice job going the other way with that 2-0 fastball. Working his way on. And this is Bauermeister, who had a single and knocked in so far the only run of the game. Big cleanup hitter for them. Greenbush holding on Sagdahl over there. I'll have to ask later on if the Sagdahl kid is any relation to I don't know if you know that name, Steve Sagdahl. But
I remember the name.
Yeah. Remember he used to do a lot of training of college and softball fast pitch athletes. And
did they have a complex too? I thought.
Yeah, I think it was Sagdahl Sports. So nice cut that time by Bauermeister, peeling that back. A little changeup kind of faded in there. Ryan had officially had him for 36 pitches through 3 innings going into this inning. So. There's Bauermeister again. He really looks like a ball player. You know, he's got that upright stance. Looks like wants to hit. Oh, nice
Runner's
breaking
going.
ball.
He's got him.
And the play at second base, safe.
Wow, beautiful throw by Thomas too. That was a beautiful throw. The play could have went any way. Mitch's throw was right on the bag. If that wouldn't have been a breaking ball, Mitch would have had him. The increased velocity probably would have allowed that ball to be down there a little faster. That was a tough take for Bauermeister. That breaking ball was just a tad low, but
there's a fly ball to the infield and fielded by the shortstop, Bros.
I was kind of scared there for a second because I was watching Jaramillo and he stopped running completely as the second baseman, and I'm like, oh, I hope the communication's good. So one down, and Carlson, who I believe he reached on the air to Luka Savage.
Yep, so he's 0 for 1 in this game, and the pitch inside and low for ball 1. In the 4th inning, St. Francis getting 1 run in the first, not scoring in the 2nd and 3rd, and from behind at 2 balls and no strikes to the hitter Blake Carlson. Sagdahl on second base.
Not any wind to speak of here today. You can hear the birds chirping in the background. Ryan is really working inside with the hard heat a lot, which is something that he's trying to get a better read on. As he has a good fastball, but certainly not, you know, it's not like he's throwing 90, so he needs to try to tie those guys up as much as possible.
Ryan with 5 walks now in 21 innings pitched.
2-1 now the count. 1 down here in the top of the 4th.
Oh, yeah.
There's a breaking ball.
Nice curve there, and we'll see. He's got, you know, he's been working on, like we talked about, he's been working on the changeup more, so he can just have a 3rd option to go with here. 2-2 the count. Nice hit. Oh, sawed off a little bit there.
Right. So
I thought that went further, but yeah.
Jaramillo getting the line drive at second base there for the 2nd out of the inning, and
I just want to, you know, and even though Ryan hasn't been registering any strikeouts, he's been working in and out a lot, and you know, most importantly, he hasn't been hurting himself with 3 rides, knock on wood. So.
Well, keeping Sagdahl on second after a pop up to Bros.
Oh, and that hit him right in the shoulder. Not officially a walk, but definitely a similar hit batter with 2 down here.
Well, again, that's the number 9 hitter.
Next up, number 20.
No, it's number 6 hitter. So it brings up Holrich, the number 7 hitter, and Holrich on the day 0 for 1.
Here's Holrich. I like the red shoes. You know, they got a lot of red in there. Very patriotic with the red, white, and blue.
There's a grounder to the second base side. Jaramillo on over to Greenbush, and the side retired. So good job by the Orioles as Sagdahl got in second base with no outs, and the Orioles were able to retire the side, not giving up any runs, and they have a 4-1 lead here as we go into the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, nice job by Jaramillo moving to his left. I've been very impressed this season as a 10th grader with his ability to get to balls and be pretty fearless out there. I think he had 9 chances in the Chisago game last week, and you know, but good contact for both teams so far. And you know, as a father, I'm glad that he's able to get a lot of that stuff as being hit on the ground. So he's obviously he's getting some decent plane on his fastball. I mean, he's throwing overhand enough where they're getting on top of a lot, which is something I know he wants to try to do too.
Right. Hey, John, we mentioned a little earlier that St. Louis Park has a new hockey coach.
Yeah, let's talk about Terry Keesley. Exciting news last Friday. Sean Podine stepped down after 2 years, citing that he wanted to spend more time with his family. But I think a lot of groundswell of support about the application of Terry Keesley. Don't know if you're familiar with him, Bruce, but his boy John was a 2003 Park grad, and his daughter Angie was 05, right. And Angie was the last cut on the 2010 Olympic hockey team. she was an All-American for the Badgers, and John was an All-American at Gustavus, and he was really a good baseball player too. I was talking to Danny about that. Anyway, Terry had been coaching in the youth program for 15 years. His kids are out of the house, so they're hoping that, you know, he'll dive right into it with a lot of energy. And both his kids bought homes in the park too, so I'm sure he'll rely on them as coaches too. Yeah,
that's great. That's good to keep it in the park. So, and a little more of a local tie. So,
yeah. Well, and you know, and a new football coach, Andy Ewald, hired too, and I apologize for forgetting the gentleman's name, but I think he's a Spanish teacher over at the middle school who had been the Washburn, he had been the Washburn defensive coordinator the last several years. I don't know if you had heard Vince Varpness took a college job. He got offered a coordinator's job at St. Olaf, so good move for Coach Varpness.
So is it a whole new coaching staff coming up over there this year, or are they going to keep some of the coaches that have been around?
Andy said his father, Clint, who'd been, you know, for years and years, is still going to remain on the staff. And I think there was one other coach that was staying, but he was working on getting a whole new staff together. So besides that, so I know Andy was really happy that he's coaches in the, you know, he's in the junior high. He knows a lot of the kids. He can visit the junior high kids during the day and encourage them to play football. And those are important things that a lot of people don't realize is if you end up with coaches that aren't in the buildings, you know, they can't go down and visit a player during their school day, or they can't talk, and it really helps a lot. A nice walk for Mitch to start off the fourth here.
Designated hitter, Jordan Percassi.
So it brings up Fracassi. And Fracassi 0 for 1.
Jordan, the big left-handed stroker. Nice to see the senior getting some more at-bats after he had some yesterday, too.
Struck out swinging his first plate appearance. Going to bunt here. And the runner's going on the play. And
I am not sure why. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Mitch, when he missed on the bunt, he still took off for second, which I think he kind of got hung out to dry. But either way, Jordan missed on the bunt attempt. So one down here in the bottom of the fourth.
Ball back out of play.
The big three starters we should mention as I was looking at the St. Francis. Lucas Niemeyer looks clearly like he's their ace as he started shoot 5 games already. This is Josh in his 4th start, and then Alex Baumeister has started 4 games. This looks so different than if you look at the Park pitching totals, because Park's got like so many guys spread out, 3, 4, you know, so many guys that have stepped to the mound. So, wow, nice cut that time as well.
Good job that time for Casa to hang in there. Well, here's a case too where you know, the Fighting Saints are, you know, trying to keep one pitcher in this game as long as they can, just because of the amount of games that teams are playing right now.
Yeah, I didn't check their schedule, but I know they had as you mentioned, they had the doubleheader. Was it Tuesday to Fridley? I think they had a double. There's a nice job recording the strikeout there. I believe they had. Is it? I'll have to look and see what their schedule is the remainder of the week. I know each team wants this game because they're knotted at 6-2 in the conference. Oh, they've got Big Lake on Saturday, and then they still have they still got a conference game as well with Spring Lake Park next week.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, double.
Yeah, and you know, one of the reasons they might be doing that is like Park doesn't start their playoffs till Saturday, May 25th. These guys might not even start till, say, Memorial Day, so they're taking advantage with four games next week. And they play Big Lake on Saturday.
What do you know about Big Lake, John?
I just like the name. Big. Isn't that where the light rail ends, the North Star line? I think it ends up that way, doesn't it?
Austin Bro's having a great game so far, 2 for 2 in this game, and takes a pitch for a strike.
Yeah, Brosey led off the last inning with the double to center, and then the ball was kicked away, and he reached third on a controversial slide. Came around to score.
Fouls that one out of play.
A lot of souvenirs today. I don't know if we have anyone retrieving the foul balls. And you certainly can't get a free bag of popcorn here like you might have in at Park National or Lions Little League. But
going back when John was doing the games before, you'd hear a lot of silence on every foul ball. You'd be John, back at the pitcher. And Niemeyer may have got his glove in front of his face, and he is.
Wow, he defended himself. I know we don't have a replay of that, but that young man is okay. But that was a line shot right back at his noggin, and he got that glove up. Good for him.
I think you can credit a single on that play. There's no chance or Niemeyer on that one. And
wow. Yeah, he is. Talk about reactions. I don't know if he's a. Did it hit him in the elbow or in the forearm? Boy, he just reacted like it didn't even faze him, like it went off his gloves. So, did you see? Did you see what that hit, or
it was really hard? I know
on his collarbone area.
I mean, you just cringe after seeing, the one player in the major leagues hit right in the face this season, and you saw that was just a line shot right back up the middle, and Niemeyer just did a good job. He looks like he's favoring maybe his right shoulder a little bit, but. All in all, very lucky man right there. Great, as you mentioned, great reflexes. I mean, if that's me out there, I would have never been.
You would have had to visit me at Methodist in a few minutes, Bruce. That's right. Yeah, it's nice to see he's got a smile on his face, and the umps, I'm assuming, going to let him have a few pitches to make sure he's okay, and glad he's okay. Yeah, he reacted like he was just not even phased remotely, which I guess is the competitor in the boy. Where, yeah, nice applause.
You swallow your heart.
Oh boy, yeah.
Just, I mean, and if anything, he has to be pretty nervous. But as you mentioned, great job by him.
That'll bring up Hoyt, who singled in a run last time, officially 1 for 2.
Bro's getting a lead at first base, not going, and the pitch outside for ball 1.
We should mention that this is prom week at St. Louis Park. Most of the guys getting ready for. I was waiting and the invitation never came, so I have no time to get a tux, ladies, if you were thinking. Oh, Major League pop-up. Nice job by Sagdahl. That was a rainmaker from the bat of Cole Hoyt to retire the Orioles here in the 4th. So after 4 complete, the score remains St. Louis Park 5, St. Francis 1. Nice to see Niemeyer doing okay after that. It is 5 to 1. Yes, St. Louis Park scored 1 in the first as Bros came around after he singled, and then 4 runs in the. Oh, Nancy Fromm has stepped in fresh from her trip to Charlotte. So. Do you want to say anything,
all the way
Nancy,
in for
about
this game,
is the weather as nice here as it was in Charlotte?
It's warmer here than it was in Charlotte today.
Okay. So we're heading into the top of the 5th here. Yeah, she's been doing a little bit of traveling. I know she was bummed she missed last night's game, but she's happy that she's probably happy to see you, Bruce, coming back from your stint on the disabled list. Bruce was a fallen soldier for a few weeks. If you'd been wondering why you hadn't heard his voice in any of the baseball games this spring, Bruce took one for the team, so to speak, and had a minor surgery, which didn't appear to be so minor after the exchange of was it emails or texts we had last year after your procedure? But
I think when I told you I was eating out of a straw for 3 or 4 days, you wondered if it was a little more serious. And
right, I
dealing with a little cancer that they found in my lip, but
and then when you wanted to know for sure if I would be here with you, I was kind of taken aback, thinking perhaps I'd have to do more talking than normal.
Number 33,
yeah. But we're doing good right now, and there's the slurring is going down a little bit, and I think we're on the mend, and glad I can be with you, John, again for another year of baseball. So, and thank you for covering the games, and John, you always do a great job. So, there's no loss when I'm gone.
It's sure been nice doing. I'm really looking forward to doing more St. Louis Park and Benilde football. And you really had a fun season covering the Oriole basketball team, even though they didn't make it deep in the section. I think one of the most talented teams we've had in years, and happy for Pollard and Hayes and a lot of those kids. They really had a lot of success.
Yeah, you know, and when you have a team like that, that you know we watch over the years, you know, it's disappointing for a lot of the fans because, and someone like me, because that team works so hard over the last couple of years to get to where they are, and it's a team that there's a base hit, but a
Nice
team
single to right.
a team that played very hard with a great bunch of kids, and so you're just really rooting for those kids to just go somewhere and
right.
But again, a great season for them. You know, again, they didn't make the sections, but would have been tough had they had advanced too.
So there was a nice hit by the pitcher, Josh Niemeyer, as he slapped one hard into right field, and a courtesy runner, number 10 for them, Colton Oy, I believe, is courtesy running. This is Cole Duncan, I believe.
Duncan 0 for 1 in the game. Takes the pitch just a little bit high inside.
Top of the 5th inning here. Oy on first. Just kind of a short lead. A little high in the last 2 fastballs. Ryan was at 50 pitches unofficially through 4 innings, so
5-1 Orioles lead here in the top half of the 5th inning. 2 balls, no strikes to count, and Ryan down low. He's had good control up to this point, and gets behind the Duncan. 3 balls, no strikes. This is the number 9 hitter in the lineup.
and that's 4 straight for a walk. Just a little bit high on that last one. So just what the doctor ordered for St. Francis as they start off the top of the 5th with a single and a walk to the 9-hole hitter on 4 pitches, and that'll bring up Huss. Struck out and grounded out.
Copy order for St. Francis, number 23, left fielder, Lucas Huss.
Lucas Huss. I like that name.
You mentioned 0 for 2 in the game. Benson on deck. Benson has a couple hits, and he's standing in the on-deck circle. There's a inside pitch, and
I believe they say they hit him, or foul ball. It did hit the bat partially.
Right.
But oh, they're going to talk about it to see whether it hit the bat or hit him. So it's hard for me to tell, I'll tell you. It definitely hit part of it.
Well, Huss took off down the first baseline, and then he came back, and looks like he may have got jammed on the fingers, and you know, that's typically part of the bat. Was on the handle of the bat.
I'm glad they're having a discussion about this, because I don't think it's necessarily an easy call, and when you're behind home plate, it's really tough to read if that did hit on the instep of his hand, or technically the hand, in theory, can be considered part of the bat. So he's going to call it a foul ball? He's going to call it a foul ball.
Foul ball.
Okay, well, at least they consulted and worked through it, and it might have hit him on the hand part, which was a tat. So break for Ryan here.
Well, and Lucas went over to the third base coach's coach and talked to him a little bit. I think if he felt like it was he did get hit, the coach would have talked to the umpires at this point. So he's going to bunt again, and the pitch high. We have a chance to get the runner at first base.
Or I was just going to make sure they get the,
back up.
And they get the lead runner.
A missed bunt, and unfortunately for St. Francis, the problem was the runner on first went with the square around.
Nice, Mitch,
he was running with the square around, and Curtis received the ball. I know we don't have a replay of that, but go to your DVRs and rewind that. And Mitch ran towards the runner, which was the right thing to do, then delivered the throw to Curtis, and then Curtis ran the first runner back. So a big break for the Orioles there, as the one runner is retired on a, I guess you'd call that a 1-2-3-6. That one popped up. I think it's going to get out of play. So those are those small little fundamental things that certainly aren't too small. It was a square around, and they were down 5-1, and it was an 0-1 count. So I'm thinking that, you know, they just wanted to try to chip away at the lead here. But
what's interesting too is your leadoff hitter, so someone who, you know, typically has pretty good on base percentage. And there's a grounder to the shortstop. fielded nicely by Bros. On over to first. They get the speedy runner.
Yeah, I love that hustle by Huss on that play, as he didn't let up at all on that chopper. Bros kind of took his time, but he squared himself up and delivered a nice accurate throw. So 2 outs, and I believe Duncan is at third base. Or no, is that Bauermeister at?
No, it's Duncan.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Boy was a runner that was out a little earlier, and here's the pitch to Benson in there as Benson swings and misses.
That was a changeup he threw there as he was geared up for the fastball. We'll see if Ryan mixes it up here. As he...
Looking like they're going to go outside, but that came inside. Looked like Mitch Thomas that time stepped outside, and that pitch came high and in. There's a nice
the ladder
pitch.
a little bit with the fastball. 1-2, I believe, is the count here to Benson. He's 2 hits on the game already, including a nice single last time. So he's a tough out. He had an 0-2 single last time. Nice job spoiling that. Time-wise, he was right on that fastball. He hit it right back.
St. Francis left a few runners on base in this game in scoring position, and Oilers have done a good job with runners in scoring position for St. Francis getting out of the inning. See if they can get out of it here. There's
Nice
a breaking ball.
He locked him up with that curve
That
there.
was nice.
Yeah, and good place for that as you're sitting 1 and 2 there. A guy who's already got 2 good singles off of you. So some bad luck for St. Francis that inning, as that started with a nice clean single to right, and then the walk, and then the very next pitch on a ball that was, you talk about how the game can change so dramatically in a minute.
Right.
They're sitting first and second. Ball hits what looked like the bat and or the hand. The umpires do the right thing and consult, and that was what I really liked to see, was they didn't rush the call.
But you're right. I mean, if that does hit him in the hand, they got bases loaded with no outs.
No outs, exactly.
And you got your number 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up.
And we're talking that might have been 2 inches away from hitting him on the wrist. So who says it's not a game of inches?
Right.
Say, while we have some time, we haven't really touched on it yet in the day, but we've got 7 seniors that are going to be recognized after the game, so stick with us here on Park 16. A little bit of information on one of them now, Martin Schlegel-Wiener. Martin, I believe in his 12th year of baseball. His favorite memory of his parents are Gail Schlegel and Steve Wiener. His favorite memories with Mitch Thomas. He had a great time last year when he decided to get a mullet. Mitch was called Mitch the Mullet last year behind the plate. Regarding Parker Stennis, he says, being able to watch one of the most motivational players and inspirational players and best hitters on the team is his memory of Parker. And then of Austin, he says, going to Paul Frank Field and throwing each other batting practice was a special memory.
Well, we all remember Paul Frank Field, don't we, Johnny?
Do we ever? We'll kind of go on some of the other senior favorite memories as we work through the game here.
So Parker Stennis will lead off the inning for the St. Louis Park Orioles. They'll have Stennis, Fromm, and Lucas Savage. And Stennis with a nice hit down the line. So base hit, fielded quickly by Huss. He gets it in, and Stennis can go for 2 as the throw comes in.
Throw wide there. I didn't notice. Was there a problem on the cut?
It was really, I think, overthrown on the cutoff. And Parker did a great job really keeping an eye on where that ball was when it was coming in.
Right.
And was able to smartly advance the second on the play. But a nice line drive single inside the line.
And that'll bring up Fromm 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs and nobody out here to start the bottom of the 5th. Nice job framing it right on the corner there. Nice fastball, good location for Niemeyer there. Really still day here, not a lot of.
And
nice
another pitch on the
ball.
corner.
Just missed with the curve there. Hard to tell from our vantage point.
Ryan's had some close pitches that he's been taking, and some that were just down low in the strike zone, but he's done a good job. Has a good eye at the plate. And there's one that's flown to the left field side. Huss is there underneath and makes the catch, and there's one away.
I just missed that one a little bit as he got a little under it, but that'll bring up Joey Jaramillo.
That was the first time Ryan's been retired.
Yeah,
Second baseman number
and
2.
I know he probably would have preferred to hit that ball on the right side. Even a ground ball or a fly ball to right would have moved Parker over to third. We'll see if Joey can do anything here. He reached on a really nice at bat last time. I don't know if you recall, but the Orioles started the third inning with Rose had the double, Hoyt single, Parker with the walk, and Ryan with the single, and Joey was in a full count position where he hit a really nice chopper between short and third, as that one's 0-2, and the real tough play, and he ended up beating it out and kept the inning alive. So
see if we can get the runner in at second. Fouls the pitch off.
nice job spoiling that one.
Do you have a pitch count for?
Let me add that up after here. I was staying on top of the park side, but not so much. Nice job, right on the black there. Hits the corner with that one, and that's going to be another strikeout for that Niemeyer is recorded for the second out.
Yeah, so now Greenbush comes up, and he's batting over 500 coming into the game. Could use a hit here to keep that average up there.
Boy, that's tough.
That's a lot
you can go 2 for 5 and you're feeling bad.
A game of
just kidding,
baseball.
Curtis,
That's right. 1 for 3 is a good game.
Ooh, that one sawed off on his hands. Is that going to be fair? Yes, it is.
And he's going to have a base hit.
Yeah, he is, because the third baseman thought the ball was foul, waited on it. The umpire definitely signaled fair. And then I thought they could still get Curtis, but the first baseman came off the bag for a second.
So runners at first and third now with 2 outs.
So that's an infield single, and the baseball gods were with Curtis on that one. As
it looks good in the scorebook. It doesn't always look good on the field, but a base hit for Greenbush, and Stennis on third, Greenbush on first. That brings up Joe Burnley, 1 for 2 in this game.
Joe with a nice single in the second inning. He's really got that bat almost laying right on his shoulder. Nice pitch right on the black again here. Yeah, very composed and showing no ill signs of wear after being hit by the the Austin Bros line drive last inning. Niemeyer's came right out firing again this inning.
Yeah, he's been pretty strong as the game's gone on here. So.
Oh, nice pick attempt. Boy, and Curtis did not slide, and they almost slapped the tag on him there. So got to make sure you're diving back. Niemeyer's shown good footwork on his move there.
I believe he's given up 9 hits in the game.
Yeah, the Orioles luckily were able to, bunch several of them in that third inning when they played it 4. But Park's got at least 1 hit, I think, in every inning, which facing a good pitcher, that's, that's how many.
Runners going, and the pitch down in the dirt, no chance. As Orioles send Greenbush on the play, and Greenbush gets the stolen base. He's on second.
Yeah, and going into the game, Niemeyer had thrown 20 innings and had given up 9 hits and 1 earned run. We did a great job again with
there's a fly ball to deep right.
Wow, nice job as the right fielder got turned around several directions, but great contact by Burnley.
Mayer was playing fairly deep and was able to track that one down.
Yeah, good contact as well. The Stennis is left at third after the leadoff single and getting to second, and but good contact again, and that'll take us through 5 here. And let me just, if you don't mind, Bruce, I'd like to continue reading off some of the senior moments. We were talking about Martin Schlegel-Wiener. His favorite memory of Ryan was that during freshman year, he came in as a pinch hitter and he hit a go-ahead inside the park home run against Columbia Heights. I know Ryan told me his favorite memory of Martin was hitting a massive home run at Carlson out on the railroad tracks as a 9th grader. His memory of Cole was he was on Joel Cook's team and he shaved only the top of his head for a weekend tournament. His favorite memory of Jordan Fracassi finally able to hit a home run in batting practice and then bragging about it nonstop for the rest of the season. That sounds like all right, and we'll just talk about Parker Stennis here. Parker's parents are Heidi Stennis and Mike Morris. His favorite memory of his longtime friend Mitch Thomas is when he ran down the runner from Chisago Lakes this year on the suicide squeeze attempt. That was last Friday. Favorite memory of Austin is when he shut out Benilde our sophomore year. Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that. His favorite memory of Ryan is the game he pitched last summer against Bloomington that clinched us a spot in the Legion playoffs. That was an exciting. Park had to win that game and Benilde had to lose for Park to get in, and
that
was
fun.
Favorite memory of Cole, and everybody thinks Cole's one of the characters on the team, but his favorite memory is when he started reading the Bible to the team in San Diego during the baseball trip sophomore years. Probably not something Aaron McEachran was advocating from all his years in the minors. Favorite memory of Martin is when Martin hit that home run during the freshman season. And lastly, Parker's favorite memory of Jordan is all the progress he's made dramatically since his freshman year to become a great ball player. That's great to see.
That is, yep.
Yeah, so
a great bunch of seniors, and
yeah, appreciate you letting us take some time to share that with Bruce.
I appreciate you sharing that with us, John. That's really, again, you know, great bunch of players that St. Louis Park has had, and always a class act. The St. Louis Park Orioles, and Brian Fromm takes the mound, and Sagdahl 1 for 1 in the game, and Bauermeister and Carlson up. So this is a big part of the order. There's a long fly ball.
That could be deep and out of here.
Off the fence.
Is it off the fence? Sagdahl crushed that single last time. He's going to have to stay put at second there.
That was a very, very deep double.
Yeah, that was right in the wheelhouse, and he turned on it.
Yeah, Burnley didn't have any shot at, but he did. Burnley did a good job though, getting to that ball and holding Sagdahl to a double.
As a pitcher, this sounds funny to say, but I'd much rather give up a hit like that. That's totally justified in a legit match, too, you know.
So now Alex Bauermeister, the hitter, 1 for 2 in this game, batting cleanup. Takes the first pitch down low.
If you just joined us, we're in the top of the 6th inning. The score officially is 5-1 in favor of St. Louis Park. Sagdahl, after that massive double, is on second base with nobody out here in the 6th.
There's a strike.
Alec is the 4-hole hitter who knocked in their only run of the game in the first inning as he knocked in Benson. Nice job on the changeup that time as it got him way ahead of the pitch there.
Yeah, just going through the St. Francis schedule, and this is a team that probably, if you look at their average of runs scored, has been about 7 runs per game. The only the game that they were really shut down was their first game of the season against Grand Rapids when they lost 4-1. So.
And they even pounded out 11 on Benilde a few weeks ago in a home game. Nice changeup misses there. Yeah, I mean, they had a tight battle with Chatino a couple weeks ago, beat up on Cooper in the doubleheader the other day. So, yeah, I mean, even nice breaking ball. Here's the nice thing about it for St. Francis. Win or lose either team this game, either team is facing some good pitching. And as you wind down the regular season, you don't want to be facing somebody's 4th or 5th pitcher or somebody, you know what I mean? So
right.
You'd rather be facing somebody that can, is likely possible playoff type pitcher you're going to face. A little high on that curveball.
At the beginning of the game, you mentioned the amount of games that St. Louis Park has played and will play. So their upcoming schedule, John, you mentioned a little bit about their past schedule, but
Sure.
they still have games coming up here.
Nice fastball away. Yeah, tomorrow night, Friday the 17th, the Orioles take the road show for a night game down at Braemar to face Edina in a section game. Of course, Edina won the state Legion title last year. So that'll be a good matchup for the Orioles. And then Saturday, Spring Lake Park on the road at 10 a.m. Another breaking ball, strike 3.
Balls by the catcher, and
Yep.
that's just that's not a strikeout there. So
Yeah, that was just the second strike.
so now Sagdahl will step in at third base.
Yeah, Sagdahl gets to third on the passed ball there. And I believe we have a 1-2 count on Carson, who's 0 for 2 on the game.
Official score will not give his son a wild pitch on that one.
And that's nice pitching. Yeah, and he gets him for 3 there, and that'll be the second out of the inning here. Ryan pitching a little bit backwards there, showing the breaking ball and changeup earlier in the count, and then fastball. It's so 2 down. But no, so then Park plays, so they play the next 2 days to complete 6 in a row this week. That'll get them up to 17 games. Who would have ever believed they're almost going to get 20 games in when the season didn't start?
That's crazy. And that sort of attributes a little bit to the depth that the Orioles have, and to be able to, get the pitching in that they need to get. And this is really big for St. Louis Park to have Ryan being able to hang in there and throw distance that he's gone so far in this game. So.
Yeah, especially with all these games, you really need, when you play in, if you were a pro team, you'd need 13 guys on a staff to probably play 6 games a week. Now this is it Mitch Wanker pinch hitting here? 1 for 4 on the season so far. Big target, though. I don't know what grade this young man's in, but I tell you, it's going to be fun to watch St. Francis the next couple of years, though, too. I'm going to really keep my eyes on them in the playoffs this year and then next year, because when you talk about having all 3 of their I believe all 3 of their main starting pitchers will be back next year.
Really?
And if if this kid is only in 10th grade throwing so many strikes like that,
he's a good one.
Yep. So 2-0 with the count here. You just joined us. We're 2 out in the top of the 6th inning. Score is 5-1 in favor of St. Louis Park.
John, when's the conference changing?
Yeah, end of this year. There's St. Francis, Chisago, and North Branch are all leaving to join a little inside. First walk of the game, or second walk of the game, I think, for Ryan. So he gets a 2-out walk, and that'll bring up Hallritz.
They're talking in the paper today about St. Thomas trying to find a spot to go to.
They just announced they dissolved the Classic Suburban yesterday, which was Sibley, Simley, all those schools, North St. Paul. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because like Totino is probably, I would assume, going to go to the Northwest Suburban, with Champlin and Irondale and Anoka. As you mentioned, we talked about it earlier, but St. Louis Park, after next year, the North Suburban will last for 1 more year with the reduced number of teams, and then after next year, Park will be reunited with Kennedy, Jefferson, and Richfield, and Cooper, along with Chaska and Chasen.
Right.
And what I've heard is that at least 3 more teams probably will be added to that conference, so it'll probably end up being a 10-team conference. But
here's Hallritz, who we had that bunt, tried to bunt earlier on. And here he pops it up. Shortstop back on the grass, and that's Bros making the catch and retiring the side.
So 5.5 complete. So the leadoff mash double by Sagdahl, which is one of the best hits we've seen all year. There you take a look at the announcing crew over here. Bruce, got my Orioles shirt on. Paul, can you see that? It's Jersey Day, so I got to wear it. God, I wish you could take 10
He's a proud papa too on senior night.
I wish you could take. They say the camera adds 10 pounds to your face, Paul. What does it add to my body? But anyway, it's been really a wonderful experience here. Ryan's a 3rd-generation St. Louis Park student, and just having an experience, and how neat that he's able to be on the mound and play on senior night. And he got to play senior night in the hockey season too. I don't want to get too emotional. So.
Right. And so you do have another son that's coming up.
We do, and we'll talk about that later. Let's talk about what Cole Hoyt, one of the seniors, his favorite memories. His mom is Kathy Brown and his dad is Ted Hoyt. Cole's favorite memories with Mitch are playing in Little League together up until the end of high school ball. His favorite memory with Parker is freestyling on the way back from baseball games. Doesn't sound too safe, Kathy or Ted, but you'll have to talk to Cole about that. And Cole's favorite memory with Austin is playing in the August Classic together. Favorite memory with Ryan, playing with the Blizzard at the Las Vegas tournament where they won the championship. Favorite memory with Martin is all the practice at the Tonka Dome and having Miss Richmond in 5th grade. And his favorite memory of Jordan is giving Jordan rides and his smooth swing. Boy.
You got that smooth in there, didn't you?
Smooth swing. A couple more to do here. I don't know if we have time to fit all these in. I might have to just start talking even more, Bruce. But
It's all right. For the Orioles, coming up this inning is Thomas, Fracassi, and Bros.
Good to see you guys. The Passolts even stopped down today. I'll visit with you.
And Thomas with a base hit up the middle.
These guys have had a real good season. St. Francis, too. You guys going to hang around? We're going to have a whole senior night program after the game.
There's John talking.
Talking to some of the alumni program here.
See that nice base hit by Thomas, John?
And here's Jordan Fracassi for the Orioles now batting. Nice job by Mitch. Nice to see him getting a safety.
Fracassi for 2 in the game, scoring a couple runs, though. Inside for a ball.
Let's talk about Jordan's favorite memories. Jordan's favorite memory of Mitch is when Mitch threw out 3 runners at the Fridley game last year. Mitch the Cannon Thomas. Favorite memory of Parker is all the near home runs that ended up being doubles and triples off the fence the last couple of years. And Parker has banged a lot of those. And then for Austin, nearly getting ticketed on the way to a game. I guess wasn't familiar that Austin had been pulled over, but there might be a conversation that Austin needs to have.
We should mention when you're announcing these that you're saying these are Fracassi's, not Mitch, Parker, and Austin's memories, because that's right. I was a little confused at first, Johnny.
Yeah, these are.
I'm like we're going through these players over and over again. That's his memories of these different players.
Yes, and Jordan's mom and dad are Kelly and Al Fracassi. And if I remember right, Al was a few years behind me in school at Park. I didn't know him, but I knew the name, so.
That means he's probably like 15 years behind me, right?
And his favorite memory of Ryan, as Jordan gets the free ride, is when he came in for Kenny after the first 3 batters of Chicago Lakes games and just mowed through their lineup. Favorite memory of Cole is hitting a line drive off the pitcher's head. Wow, and listening to his imitations of Parker. Apparently Cole does imitations of Parker. And my favorite memory of Martin is bodied. Every time one of us got a double, we would make a sign at each other. Okay. So good for me, I got through another one.
Good job. It's Bros the hitter here.
Rosie had a good game, he's 3 for 3.
He really has, and really got the Orioles going with his 3 hits, and been a big part of the Orioles' 5 runs in this game.
Yeah, Austin, just a great athlete. I know he was a good wideout for the Oriole football team as well, and great kid. He delivers a fine pizza, too. Ryan has talked to me a lot this winter about how Austin's done well on the cash front delivering pizzas on the weekend. So
he does.
Nice little part-time gig for Austin. So he's going to the U of M next year, we should mention, too.
Orioles trying to pad to their 5-1 lead. Thomas at second, Fracassi at first. And the pitch down low gets by the catcher, and runners will advance. So that's a wild pitch.
Yeah, just, you know, even though St. Francis hasn't played it a lot of runs at, we've seen a lot of good swings out of them today. So you can bet that Coach Nunn would really like to have this lead be much more than 4 runs going into the 7th inning. I know I would too. Niemeyer still chucking strikes up there. Austin's parents are Tim and Modette Bros. This is one of my favorite memories Austin Bros had of Mitch Thomas. Last year on the spring trip to San Diego, he and Mitch Thomas sneaked into Coach McEachran's room and scared him to death with a mask on. You couldn't do that to all coaches.
No.
I would chop off Austin. His favorite memory of Parker is, along with Cole, Parker has saved my butt many times in the outfield by making great catches while I'm pitching. Yeah, Parker had a great snag last Friday when Ryan was pitching, and a nice one yesterday.
And the pitch by Niedermeyer grounded to first base. And
Boy, that was some smart baseball on Mitch's part. Mitch waited because the ball was hit so sharply to first, he didn't want to break right away. But when the ball was bobbled, then he broke for home, and Jordan is able to move up to third. So perfect place to make an out there. You know what I'm saying? And another RBI for Bros on that. Looks like they might. Oh, it looks like they're going to take Niemeyer out here. He's done a nice job. Nice job throwing strikes and been around there the whole game. And did you catch the number of who's coming in to pitch for them?
I did not.
So officially for Niemeyer, what do we have on the day?
6 runs. So I'm going to stand up here since you're making me sit on the cooler for.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, 10 hits officially, and the runners on third base is his as well if he comes around to score with 1 out. So
yeah, it looks like
good idea too to get somebody else in. You got a game on Saturday. You got 4 games next week before St. Francis hits the playoffs, and this will be number 8.
Carlson.
So this is Blake Carlson. Okay, on the year, Blake's had 4 innings pitched, only given up 2 hits and 1 run, just 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. So Blake Carlson in. Hey, let's finish Austin Bros' favorite memories. Austin's favorite memory of Ryan is the Chisago Lakes game last Friday. And Austin's favorite memory of Cole is Cole mastering the running backflip in San Diego, Bruce.
Oh.
And all the times he has saved my butt as well in the outfield of making great catches. So the recurring theme here is that be it Parker or Cole, you're doing a great job saving Austin's butt when he pitches. Favorite memory of Martin Schlegel is Martin letting me ride in the bed of his pickup truck on the way to home games. That sounds like, I want to get in on that. Maybe next Wednesday. Favorite memory of Jordan Fracassi is Jordan having the most perfect and best swing on the team, but for some reason he can't hit in games. No, well, that's not fair. Jordan's got 7 hits on the year. Hoyt and Stennis, the 2 and 3 hole hitters up, are going to get their 4th at bats of the game here in the 6th inning. Coach Tom Spaeth out there talking to Parker. He's also one of the new coaches that came over. We mentioned Coach Nunn, 8 years at the helm at Minnetonka. He was also a college player at Concordia St. Paul, and then he was an assistant for Mike Olson at Edina for several years. So Cole Hoyt will try to extend the 6-1 lead here. There's 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Orioles are up 6-1. Fracassi on third, who walked and came over to second on the wild pitch.
Batting next for St. Louis Park, center fielder number 4, Cole Hoyt.
So Cole Hoyt steps up to the plate where he's 1 for 3, John.
There's Hoyter. Good contact all game long for the Orioles. I think just 4 Ks on the day as a team, so good contact. Both teams as well. I think only 4 strikeouts for St. Francis too. So you can see these are, good teams when you face some decent pitching and you're still able to make some adjustments, right?
Carlson's breaking ball didn't quite break that time.
It was almost like, I thought it was almost like a knuckle curve. How are you doing on the stats there, Bruce? You've been punching everything in. It looks good.
We're a little behind. I think I may just have the right score. Are we still at 6-1? There's a fielded by the shortstop, throws over the catcher's head, and another run will score. And throw to second base, not in time.
I tell you what, that was a really hard hit ball by Hoyt and a beautiful backhand play by Sagdahl. Fracassi, I don't know if they had the contact plan, but he took off with the ball. And
is that a fielder's choice, you call that, or is it still a base hit?
I think you'd have to call it a fielder's choice, because it wouldn't have been a hit if he would have thrown to first. And unfortunately for Sagdahl, the throw home resulted in an error. So that'll bring in, that'll make it officially 7-1 with Hoyt going to second on the overthrow on the error. And Stennis, who's officially 1 for 2 on the day, right, Bruce, with a walk and a single.
Yes, yes.
Special delivery. It's a nickname Mike Resnick coined for him in 9th grade. Like it was relating to delivering the RBIs. You know Mike, so.
Yeah, he singled his first time up, walked second plate appearance, and then popped out to the second baseman. So sent us the chance for looking for an RBI here. Takes the first pitch inside for a ball.
Yeah, one good thing this year, as well as when Mac was the coach, the Orioles are certainly an aggressive hitting team, but they've had so many reps and so many games that I think they've got pretty good discipline to swing at a lot of pitches in the strike zone. They're not, you know what I mean? There's a fine line in being aggressive and so aggressive that you're just going to offer at anything. So 1-1 officially count on Parker. As we mentioned, he's going to Concordia St. Paul next year to play for Lunch McKenzie. Orioles had Marcus McKenzie doing their Sunday training this year. There's a ball hit hard to third and through the third baseman's wickets. Really hard hit ball there.
We'll give him a base hit.
Okay. Parker, you hear that? And Cole, if you want to get a base hit, we'll give you one too, even though. So that'll bring up Fromm as we got first and third here. Still only 1 out in the bottom of the 6th, 7-1. Fromm 2 for 3 with a couple RBIs.
Well, we mentioned both these teams are tied in the North Suburban Conference at 6-2. Totino Gray 7-1. Benilde St. Margaret's also 6-2. Pretty close match between it as the runner goes on to second base. The throw gets by the second baseman, and the Orioles will get another run as White comes across.
And just too bad, a couple of fielding miscues finally this inning. They had played a really strong game defensively, but throw goes into center, and Orioles get an unearned run there. So
a lot of times you'll see teams will fake the throw to second base with the runner on third base, but that time they elected to throw it, and the run probably would have scored either way.
Yeah, with Cole's speed, it's a great move to run a double steal with a first and third anyway. Oh, and Fromm gets hit in the rib cage there.
Looks like he's shaking that one off.
I'm interested to see if they might let somebody run for him, being that he's pitching, but hopefully he'll be able to shake that off. And in the re-entry rule, Lucas Savage back in the game for his second at-bat. Jake, the junior, went down on strikes in the first inning, but I know he's happy to get another at-bat here. Orioles are going to need his bat for the playoffs as well.
Runners on first and second, and strike called. Sort of a half swing that time.
We didn't mention Ryan's favorite memories, but his favorite memory of Mitch is chasing down the dude from Chisago Lakes last week. Ryan Fromm's favorite memory of Parker is watching him always keep his cool always during games, and the great impressions that he can do of Cole Hoyt.
Another breaking ball.
So Cole obviously, and Parker must be, Ryan told me Cole's kind of the comedian in the dugout. He can do all kinds of impressions. Ryan's favorite memory of Austin is the Great Wall at China and all the double plays we turned. Now, I don't know if the Great Wall of China is someplace they're planning on visiting down the road. That one's popped up to first here by Lucas Savage. Fair ball and a diving grab that time. Yeah, it was a mile-high pop.
Holrich hanging with it.
As Curtis Greenbush steps to the plate for his fourth time. 1 for 3 on the day too.
Now up number 16, first
For
baseman
the
Curtis
junior.
Greenbush.
Now, if he gets another hit, he'll be 2 for 4, and his average will only go down a little bit from 530.
Let's see if he can get a hit and add to this lead as he takes the first pitch just outside.
So this is Curtis. And we should mention Ryan's favorite memory of Martin is hitting that monster home run out on the tracks at Carlson, and of Jordan being the only lefty hitter and hitting monster, massive home runs in batting practice. Ryan was telling me that, so. So thank you for sticking with us here as we give some insight into some of the seniors here as we near the end of the game here too.
Did just a great job, just like Mr. Currington Meyer did a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and there's a little chopper hit to first.
This could be close. And they retire the side.
No, I believe they called an
safe.
error on the flip was behind the pitcher. So no, we don't have a replay there. So
The right fielder, number 11, Joe Burnley.
Stennis moves to third, Fromm to second, Greenbush to first. Still 2 outs. 8-1 is the score here in the bottom of the 6th inning with 2 down.
And so Burnley will have a chance to see if he can add to the lead. He's 1 for 3 in the game. Stennis on third, Fromm on second, Greenbush on first. Carlson came into the game relieving Niedermeyer, and Niemeyer pitched again, gave up more runs than he's given up, but again, we've talked about sort of this schedule that these teams are playing, and it's pretty hard to be consistent. There's a hard grounder to the shortstop. He's going to let it go to first.
By Sagdahl there, to recover. Yeah, and 3 runs officially on the inning. I had Bruce on actually only, you counted Parker's as a hit on 2 hits, I think, officially.
Okay.
We're heading to the top of the 7th inning, which unless St. Francis played 7, shouldn't be near the end.
Right. And we should mention, following this game, stay with us, because we will have coverage of the senior night, as we mentioned, and the parents and players will come out on the field after the game, and we will stay up with our cameras covering senior night.
And Paul, our crack director, runs to the truck after that half inning to put the score up officially, and then he has to run back up as well to get back to his camera. So what a big shout out to Paul for double duty today.
Well, we should mention again that this is right now being covered as a 1 camera, 1 producer shoot, no producer.
Right.
Paul's going back and forth, and again, if we mention if anyone wants to help volunteer, it's a great opportunity to, if you have any experience working camera, would like to learn to work camera or announce, or you can call Paul, and also same number if you want a copy of this game. You can call Paul at ParkTV 16-952-451-0771.
That's actually the number to call if you want to help for the scoreboard. If you want to help donate to the scoreboard. But if you do want to call to get a copy of the game, it's 952-924-2635. There we go.
There you go.
Or visit parktv.org. Now, for you senior parents that are listening, you can get 3 DVDs for $10 a piece, or you can order back games, or you can find out or watch games on the on-demand library by visiting the ParkTV website. So, and maybe if you'd be so kind after the game when I'm out there, if you'll mention the scoreboard number and the donations again. That's Elizabeth Griffin's number. So. That's for
I
the
saw you
dugout
writing it down when we were talking about if you want to call ParkTV. So.
And that'll start off the.
I thought it was been great pulling that number up from the back of the sheet where you wrote it down. So
well, what about
you got to
Paul?
next time write down what you're writing down. Yeah,
what
Paul's
about
done
Paul? He has enough time in between innings to run from on top of the dugout and flash graphics and then run back to his
Paul
camera.
Broden, that's right. And so,
Paul, anything you'd want to add to the broadcast, or any?
maybe he can announce the last inning here. Paul, we're going to bring our headset over there.
Yeah, we're bringing the headset to you, and next time you're going to do everything by yourself, Paul. That'd be the epitome of a one-man operation.
Looks like we have a substitute hitter here.
Colton Oy. I think he had that. He was a courtesy runner earlier in the game.
Or is this Trent Carlson?
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, you're right. I thought it was 10, but it's 30. You're right. This is Trent. He's officially 0 for 4 on the year. Hey, and that is going to make him feel good because he made some contact. He had 4 strikeouts and 4 at bats. So that's a.
Yeah, and that's a great opportunity to give your kid, gets a chance to play here. You're trailing, 8-1 in the last inning, so giving some players an opportunity to hit. This is going to bring Duncan up to the plate.
Catcher number 14, Cole Duncan.
Yeah, this is only his third at bat as he grounded out and walked. One of 2 walks on the day for Fromm. I think Fromm's only had 4 strikeouts and 2 walks, but he's had a lot of good defense and a lot of balls put in play. That's going to be a nice single into right field. As Duncan, you can see this is a good hitting club, though. A lot of contact, and you can see why they played at 30 runs against Fridley just the other day in 2 games. And,
right. Well, John, tell me a little bit about it. I saw St. Louis Park, and I was out for a little bit, but I saw that 24 runs put up against Columbia Heights.
Yeah, and the really sad part for the Highlanders is the Park only started, I think, 3 of our regulars. So it was, they're really in rough shape, the Highlanders, but it was 24-0. Park did have a real blowout win against Fridley, too, but just been such an unusual season like I mentioned, I was talking to Coach Nunn and Danny, and I said, the great part is they have that inning, for example, the Totino game, which a lot of teams maybe would have had a carryover for a couple days, and they just were very disappointed and not happy at all because they knew Totino and them were. I think if you would have asked people before the season, people would have said that Totino and Park probably would have been the co-favorites for the conference just because of what we returned and the fact they were in the state last year and returned 5 or 6 starters. But who knows? Maybe they'll meet again. Nice breaking ball there.
Yeah, Jordan Forboard, the hitter now, pinch hitter, as he's batting for Lucas Huss, who leaves the game after going 0 for 3.
Yeah, I think in a lot of ways this has been the best played game the Orioles have had this year. They've had clean defense, a lot of strikes, and the bats with better pitching they're facing. A guy throwing harder, it really has helped the team because they had been seeing a lot of guys that didn't throw necessarily so good. So
another strikeout for Ryan, and Cayman Salitros will now pinch hit.
I like that, Cayman Salitros. I wonder what nationality that is. They also have a great name of one of their players, number 24, Brady Blowers. I love that, Brady Blowers. I like looking at the names. Player Hench, I don't think his first name's really Player. Is it number 15?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's but that's what it looks like in here, doesn't it?
Nick Pills. Brady Blowers. Brady, one of the pitchers for them as well. Looks like they've only started 4 guys on the mound. The 2 Niemeyer brothers, obviously Bauermeister, and then Blowers got 1 start.
So the Orioles 1 out away from putting this one to bed, and there's a stolen base.
That was a great line, by the way, Bruce. 1 out away from putting this one to bed. I like that. Mike Morris, one of the senior parents, going to be joining us for the post-game activities.
Fromm trying to finish a complete game here for the St. Louis Park Orioles.
Yeah, right.
As we mentioned, John, again, with so many games in so many days, so important for the Orioles to get a complete game out of their pitcher, and Ryan's given that to them so far.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting what the Orioles do tomorrow and Saturday with the Edina game. Obviously, Curtis Greenbush is available to start. Austin pitched yesterday. He's out. Lucas Savage through Monday, so he's not available. Maybe perhaps Cole and nice strike there. Now, I bet they'll try to get Cole some innings tomorrow or Saturday, and maybe they'll be able to get Joe Burnley another bullpen and get him an inning or 2 on Saturday. I know that's one of the hopes. Nice job working the free ride there, as that just missed with 2 outs here. So 2 out walk will make it first and third with 2 outs here. And someone hitting for Sagdahl. Looks like Mr. Nunn going to talk to Ryan, and not sure. Oh, he's not going to have him finish the game here. So 2 outs, and that'll Or maybe just having a quick visit about some things.
I think right now he's just saying, you know what, you don't have to overpower. How's your arm doing? Checking to make sure his arm's okay. He's throwing a lot of pitches.
Yeah, he had 81, I think, through 6. But, yeah, he's throwing quite a few more here. And good, they're going to let him a chance to finish it off here.
I think just reinforcing him that these are substitute hitters, reserves that are in the game. So just throw strikes and let your players don't worry about where we're at right now. So
here's a big bat for them as well. This is number 28, Nick Wander, one of the Wanderers. Remember that old movie from the 70s? I know that was a cult favorite. Officially 0 for 3 on the season for Wander.
That was before my time, John.
Oh, come on, Bruce. You were a class of 79er.
That's right.
Do you remember that movie, The Wanderer?
I do remember that movie. I don't remember what it was about. I just remember the name.
Now you got me thinking. So I think that's 0-2 here.
John, if I know your memory, you'll know exactly all the actors and actresses that were in that movie. There we go.
Goes up the ladder, and that'll do it here for St. Louis Park. Take their conference record to 7-2 on senior night, and a really nice job by the Orioles offensively. I believe they knocked out 11 hits and 8 runs, and 8-1 is officially your final. I'm going to step away. You can go over the stats, Bruce, and if you decide you want to talk at all, here's some of the plans for the kids after high school. But thanks for joining us, and if you do want to get a copy of the game, Paul will flash the graphic up for ordering a copy, and Bruce will give you some information on helping with the scoreboard donation. So, Bruce, really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, thanks again, John, as always.
It's been great, and look for me out on the third base line.
We'll see you, John. We'll see you down on the field. So, again, a nice win for the St. Louis Park Orioles. 8-1 over a St. Francis team that coming into this game looked like St. Francis with their pitcher going, it looked like it would be a great pitching duel, but the St. Louis Park Bats were going in this game. They were able to score 8 runs and win this ball game. As we mentioned, it's senior night, so they're going to have some things. We should also mention that if you would like to participate in a donation to help with the Derek Keller scoreboard. Again, they're short on funding for the scoreboard and can use some help. And the number again is 952-451-0771. That number again, 952-451-0771. And again, a beautiful scoreboard. This is going to really add a lot to this baseball field. But again, the Dugout Club is short on funding of this and need to try and finalize the funding, and to a great player, and it meant a lot to so many people. Derek Keller, who passed away a year and a half ago. So again, if you have an opportunity to donate, we'd appreciate that. Again, 952-451-0771. John gave me some things just to talk a little bit about the seniors, and Martin Schlegel's favorite baseball player, Trevor Plouffe. Cole Hoyt is Nick Punto. Jordan Fracassi, Justin Upton. Parker Stennis, Bryce Harper. Ryan Fromm is Justin Verlander. Austin Brose is Robinson Cano. And Mitchell Thomas is Joe Mauer. Remember asking coaching in the Mauer Classic, and 11 and 12-year-olds in the Mauer Classic, and we had asked the players who their favorite player was, and based on playing in the Mauer Classic, we had, out of our 13 players, there were 12 Joe Mauers. So, but preferred walk-up song, Martin Schlegel, Feel Like a Rock Star by Kenny Chesney. Cole Hoyt, Blocka by Pusha T. Jordan Fracassi, Temptation by Big KRIT. Parker Stennis, The Intro by Double X. Again, at my age, you'll have to make sure I got these right. Ryan Fromm, Stay Fly by 3-6 Mafia. Austin Brose, My Kind of Party by Jason Aldean. And Mitchell Thomas, Hells Bells by AC/DC. Plans after high school, Martin Schlegel, Minnesota State U Moorhead. Cole Hoyt, play baseball in college. Jordan Fracassi, Weatherford College. Parker Stennis, Concordia, University of St. Paul. Austin Brose, University of Minnesota. And the Mitchell Thomas Alexandria Tech. Favorite away field, Martin Schlegel, Belfield, and Faribault, Cole Hoyt, Prior Lake, Jordan Fracassi, Prior Lake, Parker Stennis, Veterans Field, Minnetonka, Ryan Fromm, Prior Lake, Austin Bros, Prior Lake, and Mitchell Thomas, Veterans Field in Minnetonka. Favorite TV show or movie, Martin Schlegel, CSI, Las Vegas, Cole Hoyt, Forrest Gump, or Superbad, Jordan Fracassi, MLB Tonight, Parker's is Duck Dynasty, Ryan Fromm, Lost, and Austin Bros, MLB Tonight, Mitchell Thomas, The Sandlot. So again, congratulations to all those seniors. As we mentioned, the Derek Keller Field was recently dedicated in honor of former Oriole standout Derek Keller, class of 2011. Keller started as shortstop for St. Louis Park Traveling Youth Team, St. Louis Park High School, St. Louis Park's Legion Team, and the St. Louis Park Men's Town Team before succumbing to leukemia in June of 2012 at the age of 18. Keller's valiant battle with leukemia inspired many, and his willingness to try groundsbreaking treatments for his disease will help countless patients in years to come. As we get ready to just a few minutes away here as they get everyone together here. John Fromm going 7 innings, giving up 7 hits, 1 run, 3 walks in the game. St. Francis, Niemeyer went 5 innings, gave up 10 hits, 5 earned runs. Again, we're just waiting for the senior night presentation as the players will come on the field with their parents, and we will stay on and cover that. John mentioned upcoming games for the St. Louis Park Orioles. Friday, May 17th, as St. Louis Park takes on Edina over at Braemar Park. That game 6:30 start time. And then Saturday, May 18th, against Spring Lake Park here at Keller Field. That game at 1:15. Then Sunday, St. Louis Park plays Spring Lake Park at Spring Lake Park. That game at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And they close regular season against Minneapolis Edison at Keller Park here. That on Wednesday, May 22nd. That game at 4:15. So again, a busy schedule for the St. Louis Park Orioles. And what I find very interesting is, like John Fromm had said, is that St. Louis Park has not had an outdoor practice because they're so busy just playing games. And a lot of kids like to just play games, so for some of the players, that's probably been a good year, but pretty hard to work on skills when you're inside activity centers and things like that, and that's what the players had to do based on the early inclement weather that we had here in Minnesota. So we continue to wait for the start of this presentation, and now they're going to try and get everyone together here. I think we may be waiting on one of the players' parents to pull in here. Well, we have time, which we do have time right now. We'll go over some of the scores for the St. Louis Park Orioles and how their season started, and the scores here for the Orioles. They started the season on Monday, April 29th against Benilde St. Margaret's, and Benilde winning that game 4-3. St. Louis Park then won 3 in a row, beating Benilde St. Margaret's 9-4, Minneapolis South 4-1, and Minneapolis South 13-3. They then lost to Hopkins 7-5. Were postponed against Totino Grace, then came back and won 3 more in a row as they beat Fridley 14-3, Columbia Heights 24-0, and North Branch 6-5. They did lose to Totino Grace 13-1, beat Chisago Lakes 2-1, lost to Armstrong 15-5, beat Irondale 13-8, lost to Minneapolis Southwest 8-0, and then their last game before St. Francis here beat Cooper in extra innings 7-6. Parents are all lining up. We're getting pretty close here now for this. I'm gonna move the mic over to pick up the PA announcer who will be covering this.
Thanks to everybody who stuck around for senior recognition. We have our first senior marching down the first baseline, Jordan Fracassi. Jordan's with his parents, Kelly and Al Fracassi. Jordan's teammates from his senior class wrote down some memories of their favorite baseball memories of Jordan. From Austin, his memory is Jordan having the most perfect and best swing on the team, but for some reason he couldn't hit it in the games. Cole's memory is giving Jordan rides and his smooth swing. Ryan Fromm's memory is being our only lefty hitter and hitting monster home runs in batting practice. Parker's memory is all the progress he made since freshman year to become a great ball player. Martin's memory is finally able to hit a home run in batting practice and then bragging about it for the rest of the season. Mitch's memory of Jordan is when Jordan started to walk on a walk, when he thought there was a walk and the bases were loaded, he started to walk home against Fridley, thrown out. The next senior to be recognized is Austin Brose, with his parents Modette and Tim Brose. Some favorite teammate memories of Austin. From Jordan, nearly getting ticketed on the way to a game. From Cole, playing in the August Classic together. From Ryan, the Great Wall of China and all the double plays we turned. From Parker, when he shut out Benilde in the sophomore year. From Martin, going to Paul Frank Field and throwing each other batting practice. And from Mitch, shaving Austin's mohawk before baseball games. Or Hawk, if he's... Got the right guy. The next senior, number 13, Martin Schlegel-Wiener and his parents, Gail Schlegel and Steve Wiener. Ryan's favorite memory, hitting a master home run at Carlson during freshman baseball. Cole's memory, practicing in the Tonka Dome and having Ms. Richmond in 5th grade. Parker's memory, when he hit a home run during freshman baseball. Jordan's memory, bodied. Every time one of us got a double, we would make a sign at each other. Austin's memory, Martin letting me ride in the bed of his pickup truck on the way to home games. And Mitch's memory, Martin getting pulled over in the convertible on his way to the park. The next senior would be number 3, Mitchell Thomas, along with his parents, Carmen and Mark Thomas. Ryan's favorite memory, chasing down the dude from Chisago Lakes in extra innings and when I took his glove off with a fastball. Martin's memory, last season when he decided to get a mullet. Cole's favorite memory, playing in Little League together up until the end of high school ball. Parker's memory when he ran down the runner from Chisago Lakes this year on the 3rd baseline. Jordan's memory when he threw out 3 runners in the Fridley game last year. And Austin's memory, Mitch and I last year in San Diego sneaked into Coach Mack's room and scared him with a mask on. Let's have a hand for Mitch. Next would be number 4, Cole Hoyt, with his parents, Kathy Brown and Ted Hoyt. Mitch's favorite memory of Cole, when Cole hit a bird off the fence with a ball and killed it. Martin's memory, on Joel Cook's team, he shaved only the top of his head for a weekend tournament. From Parker, when he started reading the Bible to the team in San Diego our sophomore year. From Ryan, killing a bird with his fastball in a practice during Junior Legion and his impersonations. From Austin, mastering the backflip in San Diego and all the times he saved my butt in the outfield by making great catches. And from Jordan, watching him hitting line drives off pitches way above the strike zone and listening to his imitations of Parker. Let's hear it for Cole. Next we have number 9, Ryan Fromm, along with his parents, John and Nancy Fromm. Memories of Ryan from Mitch, Ryan's clutch home run against South. For Martin, freshman year he came in as a pinch hitter and hit a go-ahead inside the park home run against Columbia Heights. From Parker, the game he pitched last summer against Bloomington that clinched us a spot in the Legion District playoffs. And from Cole, playing in Las Vegas and winning the Blizzard tournament. From Jordan, when he came in for Kenny after the first 3 batters of the Chisago Lakes game and just mowed through their lineup for 9 innings. And from Austin, this year against Chisago Lakes, when he stuck it to them and pitched 9 one-run innings, and me going 3 for 3 with the only 2 runs we had scored, and Ryan had a walk-off sac fly to win. Let's hear it for Ryan. And the last and 7th senior, Parker Stennis, number 10, with his parents, Heidi Stennis and Michael Morris. Some favorite teammate memories for Parker from Mitch when Parker threw a dime to me from left field for the tag at home. From Austin, along with Cole, Parker saved my butt many times in the outfield by making great catches when I'm pitching. From Jordan, watching him hit all of the near home runs that end up being doubles and triples. From Cole, freestyling on the way back from baseball games. From Ryan, watching him always keep his cool during games and his impersonations of Cole. And from Martin, being able to watch one of the most motivational players and the best hitter on the team. Let's hear it for Parker. Here's Parker to say a few words about the coach.
All right, I didn't really have anything written down, but I just wanted to say a few words on behalf of the team of Coach Nunn and his staff. Just what the great job they did this year. I know no coach envies coming into a group of seniors who have been pretty tight-knit throughout high school, and especially with the crazy weather we've been having to do all indoor practices, come out and play, what is it, 14 games in 2 weeks or something crazy like that. You know, he's been great, and I think all the seniors and all the other players have really taken to him well, and I know the season is far from over, but I'm excited for the future here at Park, and I hope he can stay and help some of you younger guys get better, and because I know he's helped me a lot, and I'm sure I can say that for the rest of the seniors to become better baseball players and to get ready for whatever comes at us in life next.
It's always tough when you get toward the end of a season and you have to talk about a group of seniors. And these guys, I'll tell you, if anything, this year's been a blessing for me. Anytime there's a change, it's difficult. But when you look at a bunch of guys that care enough about each other, it didn't matter who you brought in. It was going to be a good year anyway. The leadership on this team is outstanding. I can tell you, I truly believe they're dedicated to each other. They're like a lot of brothers. You know, you can mess with me, but nobody else can mess with me. That kind of attitude with each other, I can see it. I guess your leadership and heart in games. We've had some ugly games, not too many, but some ugly games, but you can't tell. The next day, they're right back ready to go. This week has been a pretty good testimony to the season. We come out Monday, we're down in the 7th, they figure out how to get it done. We come out Tuesday, about as flat as anything can be. They were tired. They were just tired. They took that Tuesday as motivation to come out the last 2 days and play 2 of the best games they've played all year. You guys are great leaderships, and I wrote a letter that I gave to a boy from Edina who played baseball for me when he was little. And I can tell you what I've seen this year. One of the things I put in his letter was there's 3 things that I see that he has. He has the want to do. He has the want to find opportunities to get better. And he has the desire not to quit. Those are 3 things that's going to make him successful in life. And those are exactly the same 3 things I see in each and every one of you guys. When you leave us, it's all we're going to be in the long run is an experience for you to fall back on, because you've already got 3 of the most important things to be successful in life. And I'll tell you from the coaching staff, we really appreciate everything you've done this year. Thank you for accepting us.
How about one more big round of applause for our seniors? And there will be cake back behind the dugout.
So final score here from St. Louis Park on senior night. And again, congratulations to all the seniors playing their last game. Hold on one sec here.
You want to talk to Fromm at all? No, you guys are cutting off that.
So again, final score here, St. Louis Park 8-1. A great night for the Orioles, beating St. Francis on senior night. And again, congratulations to all the seniors and their parents. And again, we want to thank everyone for joining us. On behalf of John Fromm, I'm Bruce Holberman here from Keller Field in St. Louis Park. Final score of the St. Louis Park Orioles, 8, St. Francis Fighting Saints 1. So long.